Hi, I'm Steve Adubato. Welcome to the Tisch WNET studios here at Lincoln Center. It is my honor, my pleasure to introduce an icon in our industry and also a best-selling author, Joan Lunden, who joins us. She's won many awards as a broadcaster. She's written 8 best-selling books, and you honor us by being here. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. It's my pleasure.
I want to ask, we were talking before we got on the air that many people know you from Good Morning America.
2 decades.
Give me the years for Good Morning America.
You know, I started there in about 1977, but I became the host, the official host, in 1980. And I was there for 20 years.
Originally with, we got the early pictures. You ready?
Okay.
Okay, David Hartman.
David Hartman, yes. Okay, that was I was with David for almost 10 years.
Right.
And then Charlie Gibson. And, you know, I really fought hard to get Charlie Gibson. I just thought he was terrific. He was a Capitol Hill correspondent. And he had that kind of everyman man's look, a little self-deprecating, kind of mushy, just a great guy. And my little girls grew up in the studio. I brought all 3 of my older girls to work with me for the first 6 months because I was a breastfeeding mom. And that was, to say trailblazing, that was so outside of the box in 1980. I remember Barbara Walters coming in one day and walking up past my dressing room, and right beyond my dressing room I had a second dressing room, and little baby Jamie, who's 32 now, she was in her little crib, and she was standing there looking at this, and I said, "What?" She said, "If I had ever asked to bring my child to work with me, it would have been like asking to bring your dog along with you to work. Like, what are you, crazy? That's like, it was unheard of." She said, "As a matter of fact, I never even thought I could ask that." And it just so happened that I got the call from my agent, and I was sitting at my desk at Eyewitness News. I was a street reporter and weekend anchor, and they said, "You have the job. You're the new co-host of Good Morning America." 30 minutes later, that same phone rang. It was my gynecologist. "You're pregnant with your first child."
Wow.
And it was just this like dilemma. What am I going to do? Will I be able to do it? And they still went on with it and hired me. And it was a huge transition. You go from, going out in the field, shooting a story and putting it together to being live, everything live. And that is a big transition. Just, going by the seat of your pants, making sure each interview, doing 8 interviews a morning, being live for 2 hours.
What was that like for you?
It was the best seat from which to view the world and history.
Why?
You're right at the center of everything. I mean, everything that happens is coming into you, and you tell the world. I mean, does it get any better?
What time did you get up in the morning?
3:30. That wasn't the best part of it. 3:30, Monday through Friday, 20 years. Sometimes, and had 3 children while doing that. And I sometimes look back, and I say, wait a minute, that's not possible. The other day I was looking for a piece of footage, and I looked through just 1 year out of my 20 years there, and I saw this schedule. And I said, wait a second, there's got to be a mistake here. I couldn't have been in that many countries in 1 month. And I went back and I said, oh my God, that's actually true. I mean, I sometimes look back and just say, I don't know how I did it. But you know what? You're in this most incredible position, and you just put one foot in front of the other. You get up in the morning and put one foot in front of the other. And it's not just for the paycheck. It's for the experience. It's just an amazing lifestyle.
True. And you were in this incredible situation, trailblazer on so many levels. And you talk about Barbara Walters coming in and being shocked at how you were juggling and balancing. But the other part of it that fascinates me is that you were just saying before we get on the air, which leads to this other part of the discussion, that I believe you said in 1990, you're in the height of your, you're it.
Yeah.
You're doing it, right? But you just set it up for folks because you're doing an interview, I think you said with someone from the American Heart Association.
I had somebody on from the American Heart Association. We were doing this little quiz for the viewers. Are you at risk for cardiovascular disease? And with every single question, I was failing this test. And 3 babies later, it's always that last 10, 15 pounds you don't completely lose. Well, I mean, 3 times 15 is 45, anyway you multiply it. I was really the master of disguise as far as dressing every day.
No way.
When you tell me when I was going to exercise, I mean, I had this life of just like running as fast as you can to try to keep up, which is what everyone's talking about right now. about women and how we're dealing with working outside the home and doing everything inside the home, except I was in an incredibly demanding position with just a logistical schedule that I found delightful, but it was also a nightmare. And I had just not taken those pounds off. And here I was turning 40. And I said, you know what? 20 years from now, 30 years from now, I don't want to be standing on the sidelines. I want to be running in the race.
So you said, I'm going to do something about it.
I am going to change my life. I hired a fitness trainer, and there was a gym right across the street from Good Morning America. Like how hard can this be? Walk across the street. But I not only...
Change your diet?
Totally. And I mean, for me, I took it on seriously, I'll tell you the truth, as a job. As a job, just as important as any other job I had. I studied, I learned everything there I could learn about nutrition and healthy cooking, and I really absolutely changed the way I ate, the way I fed my family, the way I lived my life. And it's not just about losing a few sizes. It changes your personality. You become more engaged in life. Instead of being tired all the time, you become in charge of your own energy. And that's huge.
And that's what your books are about.
Yes.
By the way, Natalie, our producer, is in my ear right now. Natalie, can we pop up some of the books and Joan can just talk about them, give us 30 seconds on each one of them?
Well, everywhere I went, everybody wanted to know, how did you do it? How did you do it? And
you started writing.
My kids got tired of hearing it. They're the ones that said, would you write a book already?
Was that the first?
No, that wasn't the first. I wrote Healthy Cooking and Healthy Living, and this one I wrote right at the time I was leaving Good Morning America. And I remember as I was leaving, and all these interviewers would say, oh my God, what are you going to do next? You can never top this. I thought, well, wait a second. The next chapter can just be a different chapter.
Right.
I've done so many things since I left Good Morning America, in addition to writing a lot more books and doing other TV shows and opened a women's summer camp up in Maine that I do every summer. And I have a couple hundred women come from all over the United States, and I have a chance to inspire them and motivate them.
Is that the camp?
Oh, that's up in Maine on a beautiful lake called Long Lake. I mean, my husband owns summer camps, so I saw this incredible facility and thought, wait a minute, I'm always out talking to women's groups. Why don't I have a group of women come in here? They can climb the wall. They can, do a little ceramics, and I'll get them to try Pilates or kickboxing or yoga on the docks in the morning as the sun is coming up. And it's transformational for a lot of these women. They really take back ownership of their health and their happiness.
Joan, go back, because we talk about so many things. One of the books that I'm going to plug here is Healthy Living.
Well, also, the Healthy Living was kind of a natural extension after Healthy Cooking, which was all about losing weight. Healthy Living became more about look inside yourself. Like, I remember after I lost the weight, I went and I climbed the Grand Tetons. And a lot of people...
The Grand what?
The Grand Tetons.
I'm from New Jersey. I don't know where that is.
You ever heard Jackson Hole, Wyoming?
Yeah.
I mean, the Tetons...
Why that?
Because I had joined this gym, and this gym felt that if they always just had you come in to just work out, you wouldn't continue it. So they made you sign up for some sporting event. Right. You could do a 5K, you could do this, you could whitewater raft. I signed up to be a climber. So they trained us in that, and they said automatically in your brain, you are now an athlete in training. And you take on a whole new perspective to working out. And I had a goal. Now, so I will tell you that on the side of the mountain, with 30, 20-somethings, and here I am, 41, and I would say, what was I thinking? Like, why did I sign up for this? But I got to tell you, when I came back down from that mountain, I literally stood in that parking lot and said, if I could push myself so far beyond that limit, what else could I do in my life? What other limits can I push myself beyond?
And Joan, listen, in the time we have left, it's interesting because you talk about that. So there's a larger message for all the women watching right now, which is?
To me, besides the obvious of honor your body and stay healthy, because what you do today, the investment you make today will determine the quality of your life, I also say the whole point of life is to keep reinventing yourself and challenge yourself. I've become an entrepreneur. I didn't want to just sit around waiting for that next call when you want you on the air. And so what kind of products did I want to produce? Health and wellness, things to keep you healthy. And I teamed up with a company out of Belgium. And we're producing a new line of healthy nonstick cookware. It's not made with the old, what your mother's nonstick that we've all been eating on, which is, you know, now been linked to cancer and Alzheimer. This is a ceramic coated cookware that we introduced in Bed Bath & Beyond a couple months ago. I also represent Resurgence, which is a way to keep your skin not just beautiful but healthy. Part of looking beautiful is staying vibrant and having healthy skin.
So let me do this, because this is one of these conversations, interviews you wish go on forever. But on the other half of the show, we're talking to Christine Quinn, who you may know, another strong-minded woman who has a lot of advice for folks too. Listen, you are an inspiration to many, and you continue to set up a trail for yourself, but also say to folks that you don't have to wait for that call. You can decide for yourself.
I got to tell you, a family friend, when I was 23 years old, said in passing, "You ought to consider television news. You know, the FCC is putting a lot of pressure on local stations." And I went home and I picked up the phone and I called the news director at a local station. No one was going to come to my house.
Right.
I made that call, and that's how you advance yourself.
Well, you've set a very high bar for not just yourself, but everyone else. Joan, I thank you for joining us, and you honor us by being here.
Oh, thank you.
You set a very high bar for all of us in this business.
Oh, well, thanks.
Thank you, Joan.
I appreciate it.
I'm Steve Adubato. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Thank you very much.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating 25 years of broadcast excellence in partnership with St. Joseph's Healthcare System. Funding has been provided by Hackensack University Health Network, Sun National Bank, New Jersey Natural Gas, United Water, County College of Morris, the Merck Company Foundation, and by Fedway Associates, Inc. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.